Hi, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I want to talk about visualizing and how easy it can actually be with a little bit of practice. I think because of how daunting it can appear that you have to visualize and see something with the extreme clarity as if your eyes are open, and that's the idea that is passed along to us, that it can be, like I said, a fearful thing. There's a lot of consequences people claim that can arise if you don't visualize properly. I've now lately been hearing that some people just can't visualize. I am here to tell you that with just a little practice, with just a little bit of change of your mindset, I have been able to get people out of the perception that they are absolutely certain that they're unable to manifest with visualization, and get them to experience just how simple it is. So check it out. Visualization is a faculty of the imagination. That's first and foremost, that's most important. That's a distinction between visualizing being imagining. In other words, oftentimes people confuse the word imagining with visualization. This is not the same thing. Visualization is one of the many different approaches to imagining. In other words, you can imagine using visualization, but you can also imagine using hearing, or using touch, or taste, or smell. There are as many imaginal faculties and more as there are senses. For example, you can also emulate the emotional experience. You can emulate words. So in other words, anything that you can experience in this physical world as a result of your physical experience, if it can be emulated within the imagination, that is imagining. You do not need to use all of these imaginal faculties to manifest what you want. You can pick and choose. The requirement, however, is that you, in your imagination, are able to represent the thing that you want without confusion. In other words, that means bring it forth within your imagination, within your experience, within your awareness, as if you are experiencing it. And if you can do that, then you can have anything. You can have a Ferrari. You can manifest your specific person. You could do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. The point is visualization is a very powerful tool, just like any other imaginal faculty that you can use. But enough about what the faculties are. Let me explain just a brief moment about how reality works. Reality in all of its totality, what we're experiencing right now, is all from within us. Everything comes from within. Everything comes from within the subconscious mind. Meaning everything that we've ever experienced in the past and everything we experience in the future and right now. All of this is out picturing of our subconscious mind. Then the question becomes, well, how did it get there? And then the question becomes, how do I control it? Well, it got there through some medium, through some way, through some road. There is a road to the subconscious mind. And that is through the mind itself. That is through your imagination, or that is through your perception of senses. And so suffice it to say, everything that you've ever experienced, everything you ever will experience, has come from your subconscious mind, but it also enters back into the subconscious mind, depending on how you experience it. So a lot of what you've experienced, if you do not have the cause, you do not know why this thing has manifested in your world, then oftentimes it's because of something that not necessarily you did or that you imagined, but perhaps something that affected you in a different way. Perhaps it was an experience that you experienced, a feeling that you felt, a thought that you thought, and that, or a repetition of thought, an obsessive thought. Each of these things have the capacity, if you allow it to, will impress your subconscious. So something that was painful to experience, something that was pleasant to experience. These experiences will impact you. They will be perceived by you, they will be judged by you, and they will ultimately be impressed within the subconscious and manifested outward. Now, I have coached many people, hundreds and hundreds, near 1,000 people over the last couple of years, and I have spoken to still 1,000 more, way thousands and thousands more. I've received countless stories And I myself have manifested tens of thousands of things over the past few years, and keeping track of them, what I have been able to determine from a blank slate after testing objectively which techniques do what is you can, essentially what I had thought was that each imaginal, I initially thought that visualization itself was the only way to manifest. I was disproven way early on in my career when I started to do things like write things down or essentially, and then I thought feeling based on what I was told. I realized that wasn't necessarily true as well. Ultimately, I discovered that each imaginal faculty has the power to create in and of itself, but upon scrutinizing what I found to be the patterns that observed through not only my experiences, but the experiences of my coaching clients, the successes there, or failures from people who had submitted emails to me, or people in the comments, or my own failures, is those who tend to practice visualizing or the repetition of a visualization within their mind until it fully saturates the mind tend to manifest the manifestation in an extremely accurate way. So in other words, there is something in Neville Goddard talks about, and he says that your imagination is Christ, and that you can strengthen the Christ within you by strengthening the imagination. This could be done technically through any means of practice, but in my opinion, I used to lay on my bed and close my eyes, and I would bring forth an image that I wish to experience, and it could be anything, but my intention was to push it to the limit of I suppose my limit in and of itself of accuracy and vividness. Now, initially when I close my eyes, I see completely black. I think anyone, when they close their eyes, sees completely black. But as we close our eyes, it's not necessarily so that we're supposed to be seeing anything at all, because that would be impossible. The imagination is more of a sense. It's more of a knowing. So in other words, no pictures should appear in front of your eyeballs the same way as you would with, say, looking right now at me as I'm talking to you. But there, in my mind, and I think specifically of one client that I had, a good friend of mine she became, but ultimately I told her, as opposed to trying to see something in front of your eyes, which tangled her up internally, performing mental gymnastics in order to try to see anything at all in which she couldn't, it evoked a ton of stress and anxiety. I told her, instead of flexing her eyes. So in other words, let me start with this. When we look, our eyes, they constrict, the pupils constrict in order for us to focus and see things. So in other words, if you're having trouble imagining, when you close your eyes, I want you to first know or try to pay attention to whether or not your eyeballs are constricting when you're trying to visualize something. So for an example, right now, try to visualize me. So close your eyes and visualize me with this background behind me, which is pretty epic, by the way. So close your eyes and do that. Try to, if before you close your eyes, you want to take a look at me, you can look at my hair, you can look at my face, you can look at the way that I'm squinting because of the light. Whatever the case is, my shirt, the V-neck here, the subtle shakes that my camera is taking because I'm holding it within my hands. But when you close your eyes, are your eyeballs, the pupils constricting? If yes, that means you're trying to see it. In other words, the trick that I use and that I told my client to use, instead of attempting to see something in front of your eyeballs, relax your eyeballs entirely. And essentially, the way that I put it was, pretend as if you're looking from behind you, from behind your mind, from within your brain, behind, in the back of your mind. For some reason, not only does this work for myself when I start to get in a stressed experience when it comes to trying to imagine something, but this helped break her out of her experience, and it also helped many others break out of that anxiety related to attempting to visualize and not being successful with it. This in and of itself is one way. Another way to prove that you are capable of visualizing is if you can think about, so in other words, first use the word think instead. So if I said to you, think about what you ate for lunch, Or think about your favorite food, or think about a lemon. Think about a lemon and think about putting it in your mouth and think about that taste. Or think about something, think about what you look like in the mirror. Think about, if you close your eyes, what are you wearing? Take out the word visualize from your vocabulary, which can add a lot of stress and anxiety now that you have to use some function of your eyeball. And so this is a trick of vocabulary that often can instill, if you use specific types of words, it can instill a level of stress and then immediately help you, cause you to have problems. So ultimately though, the key here is to use your knowing. So instead of using your eyes, the constriction of the eyes in order to see, when I imagine, I relax my eyeballs on purpose, and I realize sometimes that the instant I relax my eyeballs, I feel them relax, and the image appears within the back of my mind in a form of knowing. And this form of knowing is visualizing. Now, ultimately, this is all that it takes to imagine. This is all that it takes to visualize. It takes nothing more than this. You bring forth the image of me within your mind. Bring forth the image of anything in your mind. What do you want? Choose an object. Choose your car keys. Choose your house keys. Choose something simple. Sometimes also using complex visualizations can cause a lot of stress and anxiety. And oftentimes jumping into this is like jumping into the deep end before you ever even have the chance to step into the water, before you learn how to swim. Now, some people are experts and pros, some people are naturals. Myself, I was decent at it, but the direct practicing, the actual repetition of practice helped me to strengthen my imagination, strengthen my visualization. And not only did I begin to manifest in the exact way in which I was visualizing, but I had an extreme focus along with it. So listen, this was really a tutorial on breaking down visualizing, how it's not necessarily seeing anything with your eyes. We're not supposed to be seeing anything at all. It's all supposed to be within the realm of knowing. And if you like tips like this, ways of systematically breaking down manifesting in different techniques, how to apply it to your life in a way that's understandable, in a way that is tested for your experience, hit the subscribe button. That'll help you to manifest directly what you want without hoping. It takes a little work and effort, but suffice it to say, the people who view my content, the people who have stuck with me for years, who have had drastic modifications of their life, manifested their dreams. So do that and subscribe so that you can stay tuned for more broken down systematic methods on how to manifest whatever you want. And other than that, I will see you on the next one.